Stereo.
Global Perspectives. Join us as we travel to all corners of the globe, giving you an insight into situations and events affecting Muslims and all oppressed the world over.
It is now exactly 20 minutes to 9 o'clock now. Amid the intensifying protests in the Muslim world over the US-made anti-Islam film, the latest violation against Islam, Muslims in Myanmar continue to be persecuted by their Western-backed government. This, as the international community remains silent on the issue, as thousands are forced to flee their homes to other Asian countries for fear of their lives. And those who have been dumped into refugee camps in the country by the government are not able to receive humanitarian aid, as rights groups say the government is purposely blocking outside assistance. Now, to expand on the plight of the Rohingya Muslims, as well as other minorities in Burma, we are joined by Tun Khin. He is the president of the Burmese Rohingya Organization UK. Assalamu alaikum to you, Tun Khin. Thanks for joining us on Radio 786.
Walaikum salam.
Tun Khin, just a bit of background. You know, we've heard of the situation in Burma, particularly in the Arakan region, Arakan state in Burma. But, you know, it has been an ongoing situation. Just to sketch a bit of background, can you tell us what is life for people in Arakan? What are the kind of challenges and situations that they face in Arakan in Burma?
Well, it's been a long time. The Rohingya people are facing serious human rights violations since 1962. What currently is facing is the people, they cannot go out from their house. They don't have food. Recent violence, made them, really worse situation as government blocked their food and they are facing humanitarian aid. And monks are also, Buddhist monks also, restricted their food. So this is a very worrying situation the Rohingya people are facing in our current state. And there is no safety for them. If they go out, people being arrested and beaten by the government authorities in our current state.
Now, Tun Khin, many expected the situation to change. As you said, it goes back to the 60s, many, many years ago, almost 50 years. But the international community saw this current government as a so-called reformist government. They released political prisoners, for example. But that didn't bring the kind of relief to the Rohingya Muslims as it was expected.
Well, yeah. And you see current reform is saying that international community is mentioning his reformer, President Tun Khin. But in our, as a Rohingya issue, as we can see, and other ethnic issue, he is not a proper reformer. He is even proposed ethnic cleansing to the Rohingyas. Recently, he mentioned to send back these Rohingya people to what country. So, in my opinion, I can't see any reform in our country at all. And especially that this President Tun Khin is, the person who proposed ethnic cleansing to the Rohingyas, and that president and state government, central government and state government, proper plan to eliminate the Rohingyas from Arakan on recent violence. Many people have been killed. More than 3,000, according to our information, been killed by the government or central government and the state government authorities. And during the violence, security forces, police officers, they shot dead to the Rohingyas.
Now, Tun Khin, sorry, you may continue. And
many people shot dead, and people have been called this sectarian violence, but a state-sponsored violence. This was proper masterminded by central government and state government. where currently many people been, more than 3,000 Rohingya people been killed according to our information. So this should not be happening in 21st century.
Tun Khin, just in terms of the demands of the Rohingya people, what do they want? What are they asking of the government and the international community?
Well, we Rohingya people live in, since 7th century, early 7th century AD in Arkhana state. And, we have historical background in our own homeland. And Rohingyas are the original people of Arkan. And during democratic period, we have our ethnic rights and citizenship rights. So since 1962, we facing ethnic cleansing, like our ethnic rights and citizenship rights were stripped off by the government of Burma. So what we wanted, we want to stay peacefully in our own country. We want to get our lost right, what are ethnic rights and citizenship rights. So international community should pressurize Burmese government to, to restore their ethnic rights and citizenship rights. And also to provide humanitarian aid to deliver protection and assistance to the people affected by the, crisis in our current state to, and also, like a government have full humanitarian government to enable full humanitarian assistance access to all the people of our current state.
Now, you mentioned some of the, you mentioned ethnic cleansing. Ethnic cleansing in one form is, and most extreme form is wiping out people, and that is what the Rohingya have suffered. But since 1962, Tun Khin, there have been other measures. For example, movement, education, marriage. Can you just elaborate on those aspects?
Well, what even I have been experienced this restriction on movement, marriage, and education. You see, in our Arkhana state, if Rohingya, if they want to move from one village to another, they need to get a pass. And it takes like 2-3 days, and you need to provide a bride. And if Rohingya people, they want to get married, they need to apply. They need to make an application, and it takes like 2 to 3 years. And many Rohingya people, they couldn't marry, and they need to sign. They will take only 2 children. So, it takes 2 to 3 years. Many couples were arrested because they marry separately. They can't wait for the permission. And also, if you want to go higher education, you can't go. And it is more than 5,000 students are still abandoned. They couldn't go to the university after finishing O-level. And about 15 to 20,000 marriage applications are pending till today. And recently, this violence made more serious situation to the Rohingya people because they have, they have no safety. Many people have been arrested. Many people were killed. And the people do not have any safety at all. So we really need urgent humanitarian intervention in our current state. International community have to put pressure to Burmese government, to provide safety and security to the Rohingya people and to provide their ethnic rights and citizenship rights.
Now, Tun Khin, some of the neighboring countries, and in particular Bangladesh, has been saying that, look, we don't want the refugees. We cannot take them in. It is not our problem. Your response to that, the reaction of some of the neighboring countries not accepting the refugees, Tun Khin?
The neighbor of, Bangladesh government have,
Tun Khin, are you there? It seems we've just lost Tun Khin there. Tun Khin, just a bit of background. He, in fact, grew up in Arakan State, faced persecution as a Rohingya Muslim. He traveled between villages. As we heard from the interview, very, very difficult. You had to apply for permits, pass like the old pass laws. To get married.
Yeah.
You have to get, you have to apply for permission to get married. So, and this is what the Rohingya Muslims in Burma are facing on a daily basis. And then just a bit about Tun Khin. He managed to get to Bangkok, eventually to the UK, where he's now currently doing his PhD. Tun Khin, sorry about that. Just very quickly about the situation of the Rohingya refugees in Bangladesh.
Well, there is about, more than 300,000, unregistered Rohingya refugees. There is about 28,000, registered refugees in Bangladesh. So, Bangladesh government, they closed the border to refugee, during the violence. So, as a humanitarian issue, the Bangladesh government should not do that. And they should allow, humanitarian assistance, as a humanitarian issue. They should allow the people to enter to their country, because the people are leaving from Burma because of fear of death. It's not they want to take a shelter simply to their, to their country. And the people are living very squalid condition. And recently, Bangladesh government, forced out to, they forcefully, forced out to 3 NGOs who are helping the Rohingya refugees in Bangladesh. So it should not be happen in this current crisis.
Sure.
As a neighbor country. Bangladesh government has a responsibility to find out long-term solution for the Rohingya people, because these Rohingya people are living to Bangladesh not because they want to take shelter, because they are facing serious human rights violation, and they are facing especially ethnic cleansing in their own country. That's why they left out of the country. So Bangladesh government, collaborating with ASEAN countries and international community, and Bangladesh government have to initiate to find out a solution, to guarantee their rights, their ethnicity rights and citizenship rights in their own country.
Sure.
So these people will not be leave out of the country.
Sure. Tun Khin, just another question. Sorry to cut in there. Just in terms of, there are other ethnic groups, other groups in Burma, but they don't face the kind of persecution that the Rohingya face, and some say it's because of racism. There's a clear degree of racism, but also the religious issue comes into it. Is there a religious element to the persecution of the Rohingya people?
Well, unfortunately, Buddhist monks were demonstrated recently. So to get rid of these people from Burma, they support President Tun Khin, where he says stand on Rohingyas. So this is, unfortunately, very bad situation. We Rohingya people were, not facing human rights violation, discriminated by all the people of Burma. We are unfortunate. So.
Sure. Sure. On a final note, we've got a question from one of our listeners asking, just in terms of the history, I think they just want to know about the history of the Rohingya Muslim. Did they come to Burma as employees of the British in the 17th century? Is that a fact?
No, that is not true at all. Rohingyas have been living in Burma 7th century, early 7th century AD. Okay. During the 1530 to 1631, 1430 to 1531, Arakan was ruled by Muslims, Rohingyas.
Historically,
we have a long history.
Mm-hmm.
And so Rohingyas are the original place of Rohang, where is Arakan state, original place of Arakan, old name of Arakan. So this is, the government made and other kind, Buddhists, they made, they do one Rohingyas, and this is a false accusation to the Rohingyas. This is not true at all. So the Rohingyas are the original people of Arakan, and because of being Muslim, the government and other, our sister community, Rakhine community, want to get rid of us because of being Muslims, and we are ethnically, religiously, and culturally different from other people of Burma.
Tun Khin, on that
note, we are facing racism, we are facing religious persecution, we are facing political persecution, we are facing ethnic persecution. And this is a man-made tragedy to get rid of Rohingya people from Arakan, and currently 1.5 million Rohingya people have been left out of the country because of continued persecution.
Tun Khin, on that note, we say Jazakallah for joining us this morning, giving us the background and the reality of the suffering of the Rohingya people in Burma. Jazakallah and Assalamu alaikum to you.
Assalamu alaikum.